For years, students of prophecy have been warning as many as possible that Rome not only invented the religion of Islam, as we see in today's world, they are purposely using Islam to kill Christians in the same way they use Hitler to kill the Jews. Rome always seeks to play the moral card out front while committing their sinful acts behind closed doors. Case in point, check out my video titled La Cosa Nostra for the facts on this. On my main site, I have a page titled in the RCC Exposed section, and go down to the bottom, it says Pope and Islam. On this page, I have enough articles, historic facts, documents, videos, and pictures to confirm that Rome is planning to use Islam as a pawn to do their bidding against the Christians who deny the Pope as a God on earth in the world today. So I also have a page on the website titled The USA and Prophecy. Just go to the prophecy section and then go down to the prophecy of today and go down to USA and Prophecy. On this page, I go into detail on how Christian prophecy shows the United States will be stealthily taken over by the Roman Catholic Church so as to use America's global power to enforce Vatican dogma all around the world. And this is why we see all the constitutions changing in all the other nations around the world as we speak as well. So, but the prophecy is clear. They need this power that America has to be able to set up the foundation for the mark of the beast that they plan to enforce very soon. In fact, I have many videos and studies online showing all the technology is now present for them to go forward with this prophesied act right now if they wanted to. But our Lord is, of course, holding them back until he defines who will stand with him and who will stand with Rome. In short, the shaking is at hand. But I also have much information in the newsletters and the videos that Rome, Islam, and the USA have been working together for years now to bring all the pieces of the puzzle together. I mean, Hitler's New Order, or as it's called today, the New World Order, is already set in stone on paper, and soon every nation's constitution will be redrafted to reflect Rome's prophesied demands. This is why you see the videos that I did in regards to the Constitution of the United States of America being rewritten. Now, many of you may have seen the video where Obama, who, by the way, is a Muslim working with Rome, actually allowed the battle cry of Islam to be shouted from the White House on camera. And while it happened, he smiled ear to ear, as is obvious in this video clip. Let me get here. Okay, here it is, right here. This is, of course, the article titled War Cry of Allah Declared at the White House. Check this out.
Sergeant Bergdahl, well, he caused a firestorm of controversy when he spoke in Arabic at a press conference with President Obama on Saturday. Take a look at this.
I'd like to say to Bo right now, who's having trouble speaking English, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo. The people of Afghanistan, the same.
Now, the Arabic phrase reportedly translates to, quote, in the name of Allah, the merciful and compassionate. Now, Bob Bergdahl.
Okay, to clarify what just happened, this man was speaking in the Arabic tongue to glorify the Muslim God in the so-called Christian White House, while a Muslim president smiled in full acceptance of the act. Now do you see why all the churches, including the Seventh-day Adventist Church, have been declaring Allah is God? The churches had to be already in agreement long before such an act as this would be allowed at the White House. The opposition would literally be off the charts if this wasn't so. But now that Chrislam is upon us in all the churches, even if the pastors do disagree with what happened, they can't chance speaking out without appearing as a hypocrite. The bottom line is this: that battle cry was done after a traitor to America was rescued by a Muslim president who then allowed 5 killers of American people to be set free. He, of course, tried to do this twice, but both times Congress shut him down. And you can see the facts regarding that on this article from the Washington Times about Congress twice rejected the release of Taliban from Gitmo in a trade for Bergdahl. Okay, so knowing Congress refused his demands, as he has done many times before, Obama ignored the U.S. Constitution and committed a federal crime by ignoring Congress and the people of America to release a man that deserted their loved ones, while at the same time releasing men that killed their loved ones. Yeah, it looks a little bit idiotic, and it looks like political suicide for Obama. But keep this in mind. Muslims like to stand before every nation they conquer to declare the victory for Allah. I mean, since Rome, the U.S., and Islam are working hand in hand now, as I show in a video I did a week or so ago, they will most assuredly help each other politically when it benefits them the most. And that's what happened here. So, of course, they're going to let Islam play the victor so as to make America look weak, which will in turn bolster the morale and confidence of all the so-called radical Muslims out there. I mean, in other words, if you thought a Christian dying every 2 minutes was bad enough, it's about to get much worse now that Islam thinks they have beaten America and Rome is on their side. In fact, that is exactly what they're saying in every news outlet they can. Check this article out. The headline reads, Iranian leader celebrates. U.S. has given up. I'm just going to read this first paragraph here. It says, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, took to the stage last week to proclaim the U.S. has given up on using military force to stop its ambitions and to boast that a worldwide Islamic awakening cannot be stopped. This is exactly what we were moved by the Holy Spirit to expect, were we not? When we saw how Obama helped Bergdahl get home after releasing 5 top officials in the Taliban, it was common sense to figure Islamic leaders would see this as an open sign of weakness. Now that this has happened, Rome's puppets in D.C. will now ask Rome's puppets in Islam to run rampant across the land so as to put in place the final bricks into the foundation needed to enforce the mark of the beast. There is also something else happening here in the background. We know that Rome invented the religion of Islam, and we know Rome is the one that taught them to stand before the nations they conquer to glorify Allah. And Rome knows the Muslims will see this video from the White House as their victory banner before all the world, and they also know it will cause them to go even further in their agenda against Christianity. But can you see what else is lingering underneath this rock? Rome is using both the American presidency as well as Islam as pawns against each other so as to bring Rome's agenda against all true Christians to a close. So you got to ask, why do they do this? Well, they have no choice. The Vatican prelates are actually Luciferians or devil worshippers. And Satan knows his time is running out, and he wants to get as many Christians off the planet as possible before that eastern sky splits. So he is demanding of those that worship him that they do this. Prophecy outlines that he hopes that every soul on earth will stand with him so as to claim earth as his trophy. But his arrogance is blinding even his own common sense. He knows the prophecies better than any man alive, and he knows he's already lost. But then, how many of us have met people that show the bold fruit of living in denial when everyone else around them see where they're headed? Well, the fallen god they worship or follow after via the leash of sin is where they learned to do that. When you follow Satan, you emulate his fruits, just as the Christian emulates Christ. And by the way, did you notice that the media even promoted this deserter as a hero in the first few days of all this getting out? No, we know he was not a hero to Americans for deserting their nation, but he is a hero to Islam for deserting America. And they need to bolster their morale along with Rome and the USA. And when I say their morale, I'm of course talking about Islam. And one other aspect within this act of Obama is that we all know how Islamic terrorists love to commit suicide for Allah while taking as many innocent souls with them when they flick the switch in the hopes of gaining paradise. Well, being an obedient Muslim as Obama is, one that even bows to his leaders in Islam on camera, no less, could this be Obama's obedient act of political suicide for Allah that causes 300 million Americans to fall under Sharia law, or at the very least, a watered-down version of it I mean, after all, we know we have enough guillotines in America right now to have them displayed in every city as a show of power against all those that refuse to bow to Rome's prophesied mark. And we know how they're passing laws, and like, look what's going on in Georgia. You can legally have yourself killed by guillotine if you're a prisoner on death row, if you prefer that over the other forms of death. For Obama to rescue a traitor that was against American ideals and then release 5 Taliban officials that are also against American ideals, it proves Obama is truly against American ideals. I mean, there's no getting around that. And then one last thing, and I must add this because so many of you have emailed it to me in the last few days, and I thank you for it. Again, we know that Rome wants the Muslim to think they have a global victory over both the nations as well as the churches, right? Directly after this war cry was proclaimed from the White House steps, which appears to show Islam has defeated the largest nation on earth and the most powerful, we see this now happening at the Vatican, which appears or claims to be the largest church on earth and the most powerful. Check this out. The headline reads, "For first time in history, Islamic prayers to be held at the Vatican." Now, don't get me wrong, and don't get prophecy wrong either here. Islam hasn't taken America. And no, it hasn't even taken the Vatican. But the man of sin in Rome desperately needs them to think they have been successful for Allah. That being said, can anyone here guess as to what political position will now be handed to Islam, now that they're all successful in that will actually benefit Rome in a most positive manner? I hope and pray you were blessed. Please share this video with as many as possible. Thanks for watching. God bless.